Welcome back. One final point before we go. The United incident, if you live under a rock, you might have missed it this week. A man dragged off a United flight, bloodied, screaming because they overbooked the flight, and he was selected to be reaccommodated. Take a look.
This is Liz Wheeler of One America News Network. I think this is the same place that Tommy Lauren got started. She's certainly pretty enough. I mean, she changed her hairstyle. If you've seen her other hairstyle, it was kind of a disaster. But Liz Wheeler here is completely wrong about this particular instance. She's trying to spin it, and normally she does a great job. But she's wrong in this one. And let me tell you something that I've noticed, and it needs to be addressed because it's early on. President Trump, Trump won the presidency. It's not even been his first 100 days yet. I think we're 80 something now. But here's something that I noticed, and we need to nip this in the bud. I know that a lot of conservatives, they feel like they're on top because we have Trump, and Trump is our guy, and yeah, we're in power and we're doing shit our way and blah blah blah. So we get this big head on our shoulders and think that everything is going to lean right. You got to be careful of that. We're not. You can't completely lean right on everything. Let's listen to Liz Wheeler and her analysis here.
Okay, so here's the thing. Everybody in this video was wrong.
So that didn't take long now, didn't? Everybody in this video was wrong? No. The cops were wrong. The other passengers were not wrong. The passenger that got knocked out, he was not in the wrong. The only people that were in the wrong were the cops and United Airlines. And the other people involved, the passengers, were not in the wrong, Liz. Let's hear some more.
Wrong to hash this out in public, to put their employees' convenience above quality service to their paying customers. The security officer at O'Hare Airport, not an employee of United Airlines, it's worth noting, super wrong, dreadfully wrong in his use of excessive force. He was suspended as he should have been. Victim shaming, liberals are going to yell at me for this. You're victim shaming. Well, no, I'm not. But the man dragged off the plane, Dr. Dow is his name, he was wrong too.
How the hell was he wrong? Let's listen to Liz. Let's hear her explanation about how Dr. whatever, how he was in the wrong.
Isn't a symptom of our selfish, egotistical culture. I don't know what is. A felon convicted of obtaining drugs by fraud and deceit, convicted of writing prescriptions in exchange for sexual favors. His medical license has been revoked. He claimed he's more important than everyone else on the flight because he's a doctor. Well, that's false.
Whoa there, Liz Wheeler. First of all, whatever his criminal background or whatever incident that he had, you're not looking into exactly what the details were. You know that during trials and prosecutions, there's always fine lines. You got to read the fine print. And what she's doing here is generalizing. We don't know the particulars of his felony case. I mean, you can sit there and generalize it and say, well, he's got doing this and doing that. That's fine. But here's the thing. That happened over 10 years ago. What the hell does that have to do with this particular incident? What does it have to do with what happened to him on this plane? His history. It doesn't matter if his criminal history or any kind of history. What the hell does that have to do with what happened to him on this flight? Are you saying because he was convicted of a felon that he totally deserved this? That he had this coming? Like, are we going to sit there and make excuses now? Well, if you did yeah. You did this in the past, so yeah, you have to suffer consequences for something totally unrelated. What kind of skeletons do you have behind, in your closet, Liz? This is completely irrelevant to his case, what had happened here. And there was another video that was released. This man was not being belligerent. He was on the phone with United Airlines trying to tell them, hey, I'm a doctor, I've got an appointment with a patient tomorrow, I must be on this flight. At that point, the security officer, United Airlines, should have said, oh, okay, and move on to the next person and select someone else. But they didn't.
Has to get off the plane, get off the dang plane. It's because these Asian critics say, nope, this wasn't about race, it wasn't about gender, it wasn't about identity.
Yes, it was about race. It was totally about race. This is the danger that I see from the conservatives. They are now just flatly denying everything. Oh, it's not about race, it's not about race. Because, look, I'm going to tell the truth here. But that's the kind of person I am. There's a reason why a lot of conservatives are labeled racist. Because they are. Where do you think that stereotype comes from? All stereotypes stem from some truth. And it was totally because he was Asian. Totally. You think if he was a white man and the white man had told him, excuse me, I'm a doctor and I need to be on this flight, what do you think the other people would have done? How many reports are there? How many times have we seen a white doctor get knocked the fuck out and then escorted off the plane, kicked off the plane? Zero times. It was totally about race. And I know that, Liz Wheeler and other white people, they don't care because it doesn't bother them. They're not it doesn't concern them. But it concerns me because I've seen it, especially those who are related to Asian people, possibly married to Asian people, people who can sympathize and can see what they have to deal with that is not talked about, like what black people go through in this country. All the attention and focus that black people get, and they're still at the level that they are. Asian people, a lot of racism happens to them, but nobody really brings it up. They just kind of deny it because they don't want another minority to have attention and focus about racism in this country. They want to keep that one quiet. Yeah. They deal with racism too, but somehow they manage to become the most educated and highest income earners in America. Without any attention. Let's see what else she has to say.
All nonsense. The liberals know that. Everyone was wrong in this situation. No need to start a war about it on social media. Everybody was wrong. The thing is, the most important part of this story, actually, overbooking on flights.
No, you got that one wrong again. This was not an overbooking issue. This was United Airlines having complete disregard for the paying customer. It was not an overbooking issue. They decided that their employees were more important than the paying customer. He was a paying customer. He paid for that seat. And they said, you know what? We don't care if you paid for this seat in advance. We don't care what's going on in your life. We've got employees that we want to shuffle to some other place, so we're going to kick you off. This was not an overbooking issue. Not. This was United Airlines having no regard for their customers. And they kicked them off because they wanted their employees to get on the flight.
It's to annoy people, maybe to stay overnight in a hotel room, a few $100s in your pocket, does not typically lead to bloodied faces and brawling. However, United may be terrible, but government is much, much worse. The idea that government can swoop in and fix this overbooking problem, that's what's wrong with our government. What is it Ronald Reagan said, the scariest words in the English language?
And there's the pivot. The pivot to always blaming government. That's the easy way out, saying, well, government is bad, government this, government that. We would not function as a country if we didn't have a government. These libertarians, these ultra-libertarians that cry foul about our government, yes, our government is corrupt, yes, our government is not perfect, but we need to fix that, not complain about it. If we would be quickly run into the ground, we would be quickly taken over if we didn't have a government. I listen to these ultra-liberals, these libertarians that scream, government is bad, government this, government. If we didn't have a government, some foreign nation would just come in and conquer us. Government is necessary, but we need good government. That is the fight. Is to have a good government, not to sit there and have no government. This isn't the 1700s or 1800s or whatever. This isn't the past. You need a government.
Hi, I'm from the government and I'm here to help. No, thank you. Let's look at the numbers here.
Well, that cop is a government official. See if that cop had been told, hey, what crime has this guy committed? What was the crime here? Was he a criminal under investigation? Is he suspect of, being a disruption? Well, was he drunk and disorderly? What was his crime there? Not giving up his seat that he paid for? That's the crime there? That right there says, I'm a cop and you won't give up your seat because this airline company says you have to, even though you paid for it. Well, then I'm going to throw your ass into the armrest of the chair and cause you to bleed.
United flew 143 million passengers in 2016. That's 391,780 people per day. Also in 2016, there were 3,765 cases where United involuntarily denied boarding to passengers. That's 10 people per day. Now, this is important because people change their flights all the time. They cancel, they change times, they change days. If the airlines didn't overbook flights, flights would be emptier, the airlines would make less money off the flights, and that cost would be passed on to us.
Again, this was not an overbooking issue. This was United Airlines passing the buck, putting the burden onto a paying customer instead of making alternate arrangements for their employees. And we didn't have this problem in the past when the airline industry was subsidized. Government. Oh, big bad government. Oh my God. When you use government for good, it actually can work, and it works great. But the problem is we have a lot of greedy individuals who are puppets for big corporations, and they only do things for their vested interests and not the people. That is the problem. Now, most of the time, Liz Wheeler, she gets it right. But on this particular one, she got it wrong. Completely wrong. And I want to tell all you conservatives out there, stay humble. I am thrilled that Trump is president, but you got to be humble. Don't get cocky. This was blatant and utter sheer nonsense that happened on this United flight. Do not try to make excuses for it. Okay, I know that some of those conservatives up there, they don't care because this was an Asian guy, and he's not even Americanized, right? He spoke with an accent, and I know how quickly, I know the history of this country, and I know some of you old farts have a problem when you haven't gotten over Vietnam and World War II, and you blame Asian man. You gotta quit. You gotta quit. You need to call this particular incident for what it is, or otherwise you're just going to continually lose the other side. And it's going to be ongoing. So call this right. This should not have happened to this man at all. Regardless of his history, regardless of his race, stop trying to make excuses. This should not have happened to this man.